Welcome, everybody. I hope you guys are doing well. We're joined today with none other than the legend, SHAVO of System of a Down, and now 7 hours after Violet. How you doing today, man?
I'm good, brother. I'm good. How are you?
I'm well, man. Just keeping up with life, music, and there's a lot of new music always coming out, so we're just seeing whatever happens. There's new random alien noises and everything, and deathcore zombie things, and yeah, we're vibing out, man. But yeah, dude, I'm stoked to have you on the show because obviously, I mean, big fan of Sold for many years, but also it was so cool because I saw you keep teasing the new project 7 hours after Violet. And working with all the homies, you know, like Taylor, absolutely fucking love Taylor, and Morgoth too. Like, I haven't worked with Morgoth, but I've seen him do a bunch of projects and a lot of stuff within like the modern metal scene, the deathcore scene as well. And as soon as you guys started saying like you were doing stuff together, I was like, it instantly piqued my interest. So I'm like, what do you guys like? What is that combo together all cook? And today I checked it out. I was gonna save it for stream. I was like, you know what? I'll check it out. I checked out the new track, and I gotta say, dude, damn. You guys went fucking heavy.
I'm glad you like it, bro. I've always been like a heavy fan. Like back in the day, I'd listen to Obituary, Carpathian Forest, Malevolent Creation. Like the first song I ever played live in front of an audience. I was like 19 years old. I played Dead Embryonic Cells with my first band Polaris.
Really?
Yeah, Slayer, all that shit. That was my genre of music. So I love breakdowns. I love that middle part of like songs. I'm not a big soloist, but I like to like create grooves in the middle of tracks a lot. Like for System, the parts I like the most playing are those parts, like the middle of Prison, the middle of like. So, anyways, so when I got together with Morgoth, we met 2/22/22, which was February 22nd, 2022. Twos are my number.
Twos are your number, okay.
Yeah, I had thrown a 22 Red party, and he came with Kevin Keeney from K Rock,
okay.
just to smoke and hang out and enjoy. And we exchanged numbers, and then we got together and made a song like within a couple of hours at his house, and it came out this style. And I was intrigued by it because like I wanted to do something heavy, but honestly, the reason why I haven't done anything heavy, you haven't heard me do anything besides System, is because of System. Because
Yeah.
I always said to myself, System is heavy. I don't want my side project or my other project to do the same thing it's doing.
Right.
But naturally, like that's what comes out of me. Like without trying, I write heavy fucking riffs. Like I write them all day. I can grab a guitar now and like jam with you, and we can write something for sure.
Let's go.
We can. I've been following you for a while, and I've been watching what you do. I'm like, dude, I'll work with that guy. He's fucking cool.
Oh,
So,
dude,
anyways,
thank you, man.
yeah, dude, I'm down to do all sorts of shit.
Oh,
And
Mhm.
so when I got with Morgoth and he was throwing beats at me, and I started jamming riffs to it, it just happened. And then like 3 songs in, which was like a few weeks in, he was like, "Why don't we make a SHAVO like record? You don't have a heavy record out there. You do
Right.
like I had North Kingsley, which was cool. I tried to make that as heavy as possible, but because of the hip hop element, it kind of sounded a little rap rocky, and I didn't want to do that.
Gotcha.
And I did the Chosen thing with Rizza, which I tried to bring some heavy vibes to hip hop there, but there's always that hip hop thing. And then I've DJ'd, so I used to do like EDM stuff, but like the heavier EDM.
Right.
I always tried to bring the heavy aspect to another genre.
Mm-hmm.
But on this one, I just kind of been listening to a lot of deathcore stuff too, like newer stuff, like Lorna Shore, and I've been listening to a lot of the metalcore stuff. And I was like, bro, this is right up my alley. What's
Right.
going on in the world, right, with music? Because for a while, I was a little closed into my older stuff, listening to like all the old shit. And I was like, I got to get out of there. And Morgoth he made me a long playlist on Spotify to listen to. I was like, give me all the new shit. Give me what's going on. And this was like a year and a half, 2 years ago.
Right.
And he just 2 years ago, yes. And he just fled me, like overflowed me with music. And I loved like 80% of the shit I listened to. I was like, this is Slaughter to Prevail was cool. Like they had some cool grooves, and I like Alex. He seems really fucking.
It's so quick because there's so much new music nowadays too, and a lot of it is influenced by all the stuff that happened in the late '90s, early 2000s, which is so cool too. And you hear all of that now, just low tuned with crazier production and crazier screaming, basically.
Yeah, for sure. That's the thing that you said it. It's the different production with the crazier screaming. Because if you just take elements from all the songs that's out now that are big, that you can totally relate to tracks from back in the day that I grew up listening to, you know.
Mm,
But like I said, I was growing up listening to heavy shit, you
right.
know. There was an era like because I grew up in like as a child, I was in the late '80s, you know,
Mm,
and then as a young adult, it was the '90s, and then you know, I
right.
grew up after that. But it was always like I listened to some hair metal bands in the '80s because that's what was out, you know.
Mm,
And I would listen to some punk rock too, like Misfits and Bad Brains and um, you know, Minor Threat, and I love those bands, you know.
mm,
And but then I got into like Obituary. When I got into Obituary,
done.
shit changed. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was just like, okay, this is fucking cool. It's different. And the guy don't give a fuck. I don't even know. I tried to make up what words he was saying, and then I found out later in life there were no
There
words. He
were
was just,
no
you know what I mean?
is that are you guys taking that with Taylor now? Just like no lyric, no
No,
words, bro.
everything has words, dude. I
Okay.
can't wait for the lyrics to come out because they created shit that's very relatable, and I
Mm,
wanted that. I said no politics. I didn't want to do political stuff. That's just I couldn't do it. Like the hardest part
mm,
was in creating this album was to not sound like something System would do because you know that's my DNA. Like
yeah.
30, I've been writing music and or playing music and writing some of the stuff, and you know it's just my thing. I just write that way. The riffs are a little quirky. They're hard. They're bouncy. So
Yeah.
you know, like I wrote the riffs to songs like Bounce and Toxicity and
Mm,
The Devil and No and Mind. And so these are Sugar, you know, so these are things that are in my DNA. So, and I was making sure they don't sound like anything that, like vocals, for example. There was one track that you'll hear, I think it's the next single,
okay.
um, that Taylor kind of sounded like he was singing as Serge. I was like, stop. No way.
Hey, hold it
My
back, bro.
eyebrow went up. I was like, you know, I was like, what he was doing vocals, he was trying all sorts of different stuff. And my eyebrow went up like, wait, no. Go back, become your voice again. Like he's like, but it's asking for it. I'm like, it doesn't matter, bro.
Back to
Yeah.
the zombie noises, brother.
I
Back to
am not gonna sound like my other band. Like I don't want that. And that was my biggest thing. I honest with you. I just don't want anyone to say, oh, he's just doing System with a new band. I'm not, no way.
right.
Because that's like a combination of four people. And I really love and respect each guy in my band. And
Mm,
you know, I'm the guy who has never any issues with anybody, bro. I love them all. You know, I just wish we played more and did more, but it is what it is, you know.
right. No, I got
And
you.
this whole thing started from me wanting to play more, bro. You know,
Mm,
I really want to play more. I want to do shows. I want to write. I haven't been able to write music for the longest time and have it be heard where it's
mm,
so I just did it, bro. I just fucking did it. And so it was one of those things. Like I just said, fuck it. I don't care what if the fans are gonna like it or if they're not gonna like it. I'm gonna do it for myself because I mean I live and breathe music, bro. You know,
right.
art. I haven't been able to create anything like this for a
Mm.
long time.
Dude, well, mad respect, especially someone that's, I mean, you guys are veterans, obviously, everyone in Sode, for it's been so many years. And even it's wild now because the new generation, I mean, there's always like the 20-year loop of people going back and listening to stuff like 20 years ago, but especially with the new age of media, like TikTok and stuff like that whole era is more popular than I've seen in so long. Like it is
Bro,
so
you're telling
insane.
me.
Yeah.
I trip out. When we were working and fucking making records, I wasn't as like
Hmm.
like noticed when I'm walking in the street. You know,
Yeah.
people always now it's like it's more of there's the fan base has gotten bigger. I feel like also a lot of our old fans have kids now and they grew their kids up listening to what they listen to,
Yeah.
right? So, you know, I feel like that has a lot to do with it. And I think we still resonate, bro. You know, we did it as System, we did it true to the heart. We didn't we didn't think about what other people would like or not like. Like
Mhm.
there are some tracks that can't be written by anyone else. You know what I'm saying?
I will say out of all the, because I have my little series where I like have fun with bands and try to take like their iconic sounds and try to like do
Yeah, I know that. Yeah, I watched
and
that.
I swear to you, doing Sode, I was dreading it because that's when I was like, this is almost impossible. Like I literally all the new metal bands, all the stuff. Okay, they have specific sounds, specific techniques, patterns, all this. I was sitting there with Sode for like 2 days, just like, how do you even do this? Like it's
You got
such
to do the disco beat, and then you got to do an uppity fucking vibe, and that's it.
uppity and disco beat.
Really
Okay.
melodic, yeah, a very melodic vocals and stuff. So
Mhm.
yeah, and then Serge's vocals, you know, like those are unmatched by anyone. Like when we did it, there was no one doing it like that.
Yeah.
So I can't copy that. You can't copy that. No
Yeah.
one could. it doesn't matter who does it. It would be like, oh, they're just doing a
Mm.
version of so.
Yeah, well, with
I
that, dude, I have mad respect for you, you know, guys being veterans with all that and still having like that hunger. And I see that even just now talking with you, but of course, even when I see you guys with your posts saying like, you know, the project's coming, as well as in the song, I was not surprised how modern it sounded necessarily or how heavy, but I was just like, it was weird to kind of connect that all together and be like, oh wow, that is, you know, that's SHAV, that's Taylor, that's like all the homies like actually doing this, and it sounds very modern. It doesn't sound like 2015. I think that's a lot of problems that some artists have when they're like, I'm going to do my side project, but because they're still like all of their influences are stuck in this specific time capsule of metal like 10 years ago, you know what I mean? Like this really
I
weird,
totally hear you. Yeah.
yeah, and it's always hard because then they come back and it's cool and it's hype, but then it's like, okay, I heard this like 5 years ago, but I love that I'm hearing this and I'm like, oh wow, like all those influences you listen to and you know you guys are delving into it and really making it sound like new and very different from Sode. I'm like, it excited me as soon as I heard it. I was like, oh damn, like fuck yeah, like let's go, man.
Okay. Just wait till you hear the rest of the record. I have 11 songs on this record. We have 11 songs on
Okay.
this record. And it's about 35 minutes. I made it short and sweet because I feel like the song should come at you. You should listen to it and then go to the next one.
Yeah.
And I sequenced it like I would any other record, where one after another. And I don't think there's any fillers. I feel like you're going to like each song for what it is. And, you know, I made sure every member of this band gave in their DNA of what they are known for doing. Like Taylor does what Taylor does.
Yeah.
Alejandro does what Alejandro is known for. His singing on the record is like he's in the middle part of Paradise, right? Yeah. That's all over the record. There's like moments where he just breaks out and it's like Taylor and Alejandro harmonize. It's really beautiful shit. Like it's more than I expected from this project. Because Morgoth and I went in and we did the music, right? He would play me beats. I opened up my old studio and we went at it, new gear and stuff. And he plugged in, gave him a key and said, this is ours now, let's go. And he would just make the beats, play the beats for me, simpler beats. And then I would chug away and start writing riffs and we'd record it all. And then I would hear something I did that stands out and I would use that part out. And then I would write another section that went with that part. And then he would go back and make a beat that went along with that exact, sound and that record. And then Josh came in and did it all live, you know, which is really cool. Josh Johnson, amazing drummer, by the way. Like, it's such a cool head. I love my members, bro. They're really nice people. You know what I mean? It's so cool to have new people who are really cool, you know? Anyway, so that's how it was born. And then when we had this and I played the guitar and all the bass on the record, and you know, minus a few sections I think that Morgoth played. Other than that, we had to go in and do vocals when Taylor. I flew Taylor in from Atlanta, and you know, brought Alejandro in, and I really didn't know Alejandro that well, but while we were recording Taylor's parts, Alejandro threw in some extra vocals. I was like, whoa. I was like, this is cool. So it all happened like surprisingly on the spot. It wasn't something contrived or we said, well, this part needs a harmony or this part needs all that. It just happened. So, right. And I love how the whole record just kind of happened we just progressed. We didn't think about it. We just did it. And it was really natural. And this was the song I chose first because I felt like it's got the heavy, it's got the melody in the middle, it's got the cool, cool growls in there that I really love. That guttural shit that Taylor does in the middle. I was like, fuck it. Yeah, that's like fucking cool, you know? So cool. I was like a monster. And that's where like the devil comes from. Actually, I'll explain that.
Okay.
So he says, the devil sings for me, right?
Yeah.
It's because when he did that part, before he did the choruses, he did the middle section. And I was like, bro, you sound like the devil. And then he went, the devil sings for me. Now sing it back to me. And I was like, yo, that's cool. Keep that.
That's hard. That's a hard
chorus.
That's
kind of how it happened. It was like me saying that the devil is singing for me because Taylor sounds like
because Taylor, it's vocalists nowadays too, man. I feel like within the last like 5 years, it's been a whole like transition of like this next level where every vocalist can scream and sing. They can do any noise they hear at the zoo or in a movie at this point.
Bro,
like it's insane.
The animal sounds are crazy. Like I was revisiting a Lorna Shore track. The most famous one where he does that. It stops and the breakdown hits, and he
Yeah.
does the I don't know what the track's name is, but he does that like
Yeah.
shit, like a predator. And we have some tracks where Taylor goes off like that too. I was like, go all out, bro. Go do
Cool.
it. Like, just do it. I didn't even know how it was going to become. Like right when we went in, it was like, okay, we're doing vocals. Nothing was written.
Right.
It was blank, just instrumentals, done.
That's
And
awesome.
it just kind of, how it kind of like handed them pad and pen and said, go, start
Right.
writing. This is how I learned from Rizza from Wu-Tang. When I was in the studio years ago, like, what is it, about 18, 17 years ago, we were in
Okay.
my house recording the Chosen record, which I still have a full length album that we never dropped of me and Rizza, yeah,
Oh
with
shit.
all sorts of gang members. Jizz is on there, Killer
Mhm.
Priest is on there. So, and I made all the music, So he would hand everybody pads, and then I would play the little section that I wanted vocals on, and like four people would go at it.
Mhm.
And then we would listen to each one, and I would record every one on that little section. And then the one that fit the most, I would put in the edit, and then the other one I'd save for something else. So it was kind of went like we used the same method of recording that I did for the Rizza record that we did for 7 hours.
Wow,
So
that's
it's
it.
interesting.
That's that. I feel like that's such a healthy, outlook too for just, hey, everyone come in and do what you do, like do your thing instead of it. I love that you guys didn't put like a limit on like, hey, it has to do
No,
this, it has to sound like this. It's just you guys started with the foundation and
it
you
was like
said, yo,
you do
cook.
you, bro.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was like you do you, and I wanted it to be that way because when someone's doing stuff that is free,
yeah,
it always comes out better, you know?
mm,
It always comes out better because it's free. It's like you're free to do it.
mm,
And you're not thinking about impressing anybody. You're not thinking about anything besides doing it for yourself.
yeah,
And that's the liberating part of this whole project was that, you know? And
mm.
yeah, man, I'm proud of it. I think we're all proud of it. I've been talking to the whole band. Everyone's just texting each other going, damn, people are loving it. I'm like, bro, we did it because we loved it. So now we're hoping everyone who's hearing it loves it. If they don't, they don't. It really doesn't matter. What
Right,
matters is we get to do this and we get to do it together. And we have an outlet now. We
yeah,
have another outlet that we can make heavy music. And I mean, there's songs on the record that are on the lighter side. They're
right,
not all this heavy. I'd made like a full record,
yeah,
a
yeah.
full record, all sorts of songs. But the DNA of every human in the band is in every song.
Well, that's awesome because everyone wants that freedom, and it makes it so that probably the hardest decision is not necessarily always in the studio, but it was actually just at the formation of picking the right people, because then you can have that trust and not always worry. Is this person gonna do this? This person gonna do this? We're all in the studio, we all know what we do, and we all
Mhm.
play to our strengths, and it just comes out and happens. And some ideas sure might not be the best, but then some are. You hear that gold, and you're like, done, we're good.
That's
It's
it.
banger.
Like I said, I wasn't prepared for Alejandro to have such a major role in the vocals. He was going to be the lead guitar player.
Oh shit, okay.
Yeah, yeah. 'Cause, we needed a lead guitar player. I never thought we were going to have a second singer
Mm.
um, until we were there and doing the vocals. And he gave his part, and I was like, "Whoa, bro! Like, you are golden, man. Like, he's a gifted kid, bro. He's way talented. Like,
I
way."
started knowing about him somewhat recently. I was, I think, due to Taylor, because I know they did some stuff together. I was like, oh, who is this guy? And I was like, oh shit, like he's insane. And again, everyone you
He
guys
is.
have is wild.
He's like a canary. I think every band member does what they do well, and it just worked out. Like
Mm,
I came into that vocal session with ideas,
mm,
like what to do where,
right.
and then when they did what they did, I was just like, bro, when you need me, let me know. Or if I heard something that, like I said, when he did the Serge thing, I was like, nope. And that's when let's do something else there.
Now that,
Um,
well,
other than
I love the new song too, because it's so modern, so heavy, and I love that bridge section because it doesn't sound necessarily system, but it has almost like those elements of the 2000s in an ethereal way, which is like it's a throwback while still being right here, modern and new. And I
the,
love that you
the,
guys
the
mixed
entire
that up.
album has that in it. Like there's parts that we put in all the songs that have that little
That's
kind
cool.
of edge that I'm used to back in the day, but I wanted it to be current. I didn't want it to sound like something that could have been released
Yeah.
in the early 2000s. I didn't want that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's that. Yeah, that can be so frustrating. I'm sure for like musicians, of course, as well as just fans, because everyone's doing so much new stuff now, and I love how the modern metal scene seems like there's no rules. Finally, like it's been a few years, but it's like, oh wow, you really can do anything as long as it doesn't suck. Like it's
Yeah, no, that's good. I
yeah,
like that.
and
And
it's
there's so many trolls out there though. It's fucking crazy. There's so many. It's like someone wrote. I read the comments. Why not, right?
why
I mean,
not?
I probably whatever,
Well,
but
there's
I'm
many
just.
reasons why not, my dude. Because
It's the
comments
first day. It's the
first
first.
day. Okay.
So someone wrote, "Oh, this is just generic metal or grindcore, or no, not grind, deathcore." I was like, generic. I was like, "This is not generic dark." I mean, it's not. It really isn't. There was a. It's like, show me another song
That,
that sounds like.
well, that's why even like a lot of the moderns, I just call it modern metal because it's so infused with different genres and influences at this point that even if there's like a foundational genre, like whether it's new metal or deathcore or metalcore or whatever it might be, there's so many other elements now that everyone is so much better at utilizing, as well as production elements added into stuff that like you can have dubstep in deathcore, you can have dubstep in, it doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
that's
Just,
where
yeah.
Morgoth really shines on this record is his production. He has a lot to do with our sound being modern,
Mm-hmm.
because he took my riffs and then the way he layered sounds behind it and the way that the drums sound, the way he used the triggers and stuff, it really sounds like today. And because he's the master at that, bro. Like the kid is just a music
Morgoth
maker.
is
He's
sick.
a machine, bro.
Yeah, well, so
Like,
you keep mentioning record, and I definitely want to, because like you guys have a single now, Paradise. Go check it out, everybody. Obviously, so record without spoiling things you can't say or give away. Like I know you keep saying it's a vibe. It has a bunch of different elements in it. Like what is? Do you guys have any current plans or estimations that you guys can discuss? That's available.
I don't
Or?
know if I could discuss it,
Oh,
but
yeah.
I'll tell you by end of summer, hopefully we drop the whole record, and
Oh,
then
that's that's so fast.
we'll do another track next month. We'll drop another one. We've already filmed 3 videos.
Wow, you're going.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh yeah, we're on. This is it, bro. We have the whole thing scheduled. Like, and then we have the October. I can't tell you how many other
Oh,
shows we have booked, but the one we have booked right now is Mayhem on the 12th of October.
right.
We'll be on the main stage. And I still don't know what spot, but I think that they're going to wait and see how we do. So, you know what I'm saying? But, that's what I want too. I mean, I don't want to play places where if I don't deserve it, I don't want it. You know what I mean? I want it to be well deserved.
Damn,
It doesn't
you're
matter.
very humble, man. You're incredibly humble. Like,
Well, dude, I mean, why wouldn't I be shit?
of course,
I don't
dude.
like egomaniac people. Anyway, so it is what it is, man. So there's a lot planned. The album was and this whole thing was gonna come out in April, like during Sick New World. It's just, and I was totally gonna drop it on my own without anything, but on my new imprint. But when I got interest from Ash, I decided to slow it down and see what I can do there.
I
Because
was gonna ask because I saw you guys were on Samaria. I was like, oh, that's cool. And Samaria doesn't sign many bands nowadays. Like it's been like they usually take. It's very rare. It's like a new signing. So seeing you guys on there, I was like, that's sick. And how does that integrate with you guys? Because Sumerian is also very, I mean, especially during the 10s, they were very a modern record doing like all the new bands like Gent and that when that was really popping off. So like how did that collaboration come about with Sumerian and Ash?
We had a few other labels that were interested in it. We gave a couple of songs out, just like shopped it, just to see where I get interest. And we got a lot of interest, but I felt like Ash's interest was real. Like,
yeah,
what I wanted, I didn't need a lot of money. I didn't need any of that, bro. I just needed support, and I needed someone to feel how I feel about the record and about the product in general, and just kind of have passion for it. And the dude had passion for it. I had lunch with him. He was like, "What do you need?" I'm like, "I just need your fucking heart, bro. I need someone to get it. Like, if you got it, let's go." Because like he's like, "I'll give you this and that." I said, "You know what? Let's get that when it's needed." That's not, like I said, I'm not looking for $1 million deal. I'm looking for heart and execution. Like I need it. If I need something, I need it done. You know what I mean? And that's what we agreed on. Where whatever I need, I get whenever I need it. That's nothing in advance. Just like, let's go do it, bro. Let's just kill this and rock it together and be partners on it. And we could bring more music to this world. That's really cool and good. So that was the whole thing. It wasn't just this. We also did the record deal with the labels. So we can later on sign other bands if we feel like it together and work on it together. And it's kind of cool. He's a really creative dude. I like him a lot, man. He was very comfortable to kick it with, and I felt really strong about it. So that's why we did it with him.
It's so important to feel comfortable, especially especially because I could tell this is such a passion project for you and of course everyone else in the band that like there's always the fun horror, not fun, just like the horror stories of like you know, you go in and then a band might need extra support, they might need extra just guidance or whatever, marketing talent, and then they, you know, they get with deals, and then everything takes longer, everything's harder to deal with, and then it takes away the fun of just, hey, I wanted to make cool shit. So I'm glad you guys were able to instill that right away and that be the focus for you guys. You just do
that
what
is
you
the
do.
focus. Yeah, that's the focus. So we can all do what we do. You know, everyone, including the label, they have a role. It's like a team, bro. It's like a football team. I don't know who described it for me this way a while back. You get a good team, you get a good product when you have members of a team that all do different things. If you have 4 members or 4 people on the team trying to do the same exact thing, then you're not going to have it. It's like having a football team with 4 quarterbacks, no wide receiver, and no longer. You know, it's like who are you going to throw it to? You have 3 guys that can throw. You need to have a good blocker. You need to have a good quarterback. You know what I mean? It's like it's teamwork that makes it happen. You know, so that's why I'm cool with this project. It's like I think all of us have that mentality, and it is what it is. Man. I just can't wait to hear the next song already, man. I'm like, fucking, let's get the next song out.
Dude, yeah, you guys just released today, damn.
I know, but I'm still, you know, it's like I want that instant gratification.
The instant gratification. Dude, I love that. I love the excitement too, and the hype, just because it's something that's so refreshing. Even in the day and age where there's artists that are hot right now, just doing stuff has been new and already. It's just sometimes you can tell, like, okay, here's another song, and it's like that's not exciting. It's just you can tell it's like going through the emotions instead of like, no, like, let's go. I'm excited. I want to drop this. You guys have been working on it for a while too, and I have to ask too regarding the name. Where did the name come from? Like SHAV is the short form, right? Like, but like, what is the origin of the name?
Well, we agreed never to explain the actual concept of the name because I'm thinking of other aspects. It's a brand as well as a band, you know. Right. So I kind of want to maybe do some comic book shit maybe later on where we have like a Black Mirror style episodes of like what the band is, and not the band, but the name could mean. You know, like stories about it. It doesn't have to be band members being superheroes or anything. I'm talking about like the name of the band could mean a lot of different things. And I have 2 main things that it means to me, and you'll probably see it in that way, you know, once it's there. But I don't really want to explain it to it. It started off as and then I didn't want to have my name as the band's name. I just don't like that, you know. I like collaborating. I love a band. I think it's cooler than having a side project. I think it's a side project, but it's not like, I don't know how to explain it. I just didn't want it to be just my little solo.
Right. And because you guys are all collaborating, you're all doing something special together.
Collaborating, you know, it doesn't matter. I mean, even if it was just me, I'd still want to name it something.
Right. To have its own identity. That's awesome, dude.
It'd be hard to have my name on a backdrop behind me. You know what I'm saying? That'd be weird for me. If I'm gonna ever put a band name somewhere, it's gonna be SHAVO. Like, I don't know, bro. It's my name. You know what I'm saying? Like,
no, dude. How do you guys? I guess because I know you're planning a lot of stuff, and I love that you guys are already just like going. How do you guys all balance that? Because I think everyone. I don't know your guys' drummer, but everyone else, I know everyone is doing projects. Everyone is in bands. Taylor, I know, is in full-time touring band too. Like that's obviously you're in Sode. Like, how do you guys balance that? Is that something that you guys ever think is going to be an issue when it comes to scheduling what you guys want to do? No.
You know what? Everyone should do what's planned. We'll plan it out. We'll say, you know, we're taking a month to do this band, and then all the other bands know that, or projects know that. You know, let's say October we're going to do 7 hours, right? So we're doing 7 hours in October. Everyone knows that. And then we'll take a few months off, and anyone can do whatever they want. And then it's going to be healthy, bro. Cool. We don't want it to affect any other work. We don't want, like, if Sode needs me, Sode's got me. I'm not going to say, guys, I'm doing 7 hours this week. You know, like, I'm not coming to a rehearsal. I'm not doing that. You know, it's so everyone has to know where they're at and not offend anyone else. I want every project, other people in all the other projects of each band member to support this and be into this and not be like, oh, it's taking away from us or anything like that. I want it to help the other project. I want to be able, there's room for it all. You know, this is art. This is not a fucking I'm not possessive over it all. It just, you know what I mean? It should be very relaxed and fun and enjoyable for everyone. You know?
Of course, man. And I love that you guys just, again, want your purpose is to make music and actually it come out. I know that can be so frustrating as a musician myself that works with a few people. Like, I know, you know, you do a lot of stuff, you create whole songs, albums, whatever it might be, and then you just sit there and you're like, wow, this is not, it's been 5 years.
Mhm.
This isn't happening, I guess. Like that, there goes like that time that was invested, and it can be so frustrating, especially if you put all your heart and love into creating something and you just know it's sitting there. And it's even more frustrating because you know as time goes on, it probably becomes less and less like this special thing
Yeah,
for the times, right?
yeah. Again, I have that. You know, like I told you, I have the Chosen record from the Rizza that I
Yeah.
made 15 years ago. It's not. We're still holding on to it because there's a lot of stuff that doesn't. I don't think would work today when it
Mm.
comes to topics, um, vibes. I think it's still. I played it for Morgoth and Ash, and they both went, "What the fuck?" Like it still works today. I was like, "You wrote this when?" I said it was in '06 we started.
Wow.
And yeah, it was prior to any of the Run to Jewels and all that stuff. And I think it has that energy because I used heavy sounds
Mm.
and raw sounds to make hip hop, you know,
Right.
and like in industrial sounds, you know, if you hear it.
Mm. Well, industrial
So
goes hard now. Even in the
it does.
modern, yeah, modern metal, like Spirit Box, Bad Omens, all these bands are using like synthwave,
Exactly.
industrial stuff too. Even in that scene, and it's this big.
I really dig, by the way, Spirit Box. I think they're really cool.
They're sick.
They're they're
Where's
really,
like where's your? Because it's so funny because everyone mainly probably knows you as like Shavo bassist, right? And like, but you do guitar, you write, you also do like production. Like, where did that all I guess come from over all the years and the love for all
doing it. I started on guitar. I'm a guitar player.
that? Okay, gotcha.
Like I started when I was 11 playing guitar, and then around I think like 17, 18, I picked up the bass.
Hmm.
And it's just because I was that thing I told you about playing Dead Embryonic Cell Sepultura song, I was playing guitar in that band. I was a guitar player.
Okay.
So what happened was when I was really looking for a band in my later teens, my early 20s, I guess, late teens, I couldn't find a good bass player to start a band with. Like the bass players were either like really new and they had just started playing,
Hmm.
or they were like Les Claypool virtuoso, you know?
Gotcha.
And I just kind of wanted someone to play rhythm and meat and potatoes and groove.
Right.
So after a while, I traded in. I had this badass, which I shouldn't have, but we had no money back then. So I just like I had this amazing Randall half stack that just
Oh
had
well.
sound beast. It was a beast.
Right.
No effects, just like you plug in and put the distortion up, and it sounded like walls were gonna fucking open.
Right.
The Jane there, you know,
Hmm.
Pantera had that Pantera tone, you know,
Dude,
and
everyone's still nowadays looking for that like Pantera, Tony. It's
well, because the
insane.
Pantera tone is the shit, bro.
Yeah.
When those albums came out, I swore by it. I used to off topic. I was just
Yeah.
explaining something, but when Vulgar came out, I would tell people to buy it, and if they don't like it, I'll pay them back for that album.
Damn, dude.
No one ever asked me to pay back for
Respect,
that
man.
That's fucking retarded record. And then,
Yeah.
anyways, so I traded in a Randall half stack, went to Guitar Center, and got an Ibanez sound gear,
Mhm.
and that's how my bass career started. You know,
Oh,
and
wow.
I started playing bass, and then, but I still always played guitar. It's like because of
Mm.
starting on the guitar,
Mm.
I wrote my first ever like songs on the guitar, so I still write on the guitar a lot, and
Oh,
then I transfer them onto bass. But I still could write on bass. I've written bass parts on bass, and then guitar parts, and then transcribe them onto bass and guitar.
what's easier to start a song with if you have a whole concept for a song? Starting guitar or starting bass? Guitar. Okay. Yeah.
Guitar. I even write on acoustic guitars, and then I move it into the electric guitar and bass. And then production came in when I started working with the Rizza. So I was
Mm.
living on my own in Calabasas, and him and I did. So when we covered that Wu-Tang track, Shame,
Right.
when the system did, I was kind of spearheading that. I went into the studio with Wu-Tang and I talked to them because I'm a big Wu-Tang fan, or I was big at the time, and then became friends from that. Me and Rizza bonded, we connected, we realized we live near each other. So he came over my house once and I showed him my studio. I had bought all this like Pro Tools and all this stuff, but I had never used it. I looked at it like it was like brain surgery, you know? Like I didn't
That's
all
what
the
Pro Tools
buttons.
does to you, dude.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
was
that's
like, whoa.
understandable.
So it was just there, you know?
Yeah.
And I showed it to him, I said, I don't know how to use it. I don't know how to do any of this. And he's like, well, you know, he's like, I have a couple of guitars I don't know what to do with. He's like, can you teach me how to play guitar and I'll show you how to use your rigs? I said, bro,
That's
let's
sick.
go. So we would visit each other 3, 4 times a week. He would come over, show me basics, and then show me how to use my drum machine connected, how I do it, press what, you know, little shortcuts. And I would mess around all night. And then I would go to his house, take a guitar, and we'd play guitar, and I'd show him chords. And And then Wu-Tang went on tour, and then System went on tour, and I took my little drum machine. I came back with like 50 beats on there, like because I learned how to use it.
Nice.
And he came back, and he was like jamming songs on the guitar,
Damn.
and he was, look, Shaw, you know, and it was just we became a thing, you know. That's how I learned how to produce things and watching the Rizza, you know. But when it comes to arrangement and songs, I learned that through watching Rick work with System and how Darren and Serge and everyone kind of worked with Rick on the first couple of records, and I watched that. I was there. I was very present for all that. So the Rick mentality of songwriting kind of just kind of lasts with me, and until today, I write thinking of I arrange thinking of how Rick would kind of arrange, not how Rick would do it, but how I was taught. It's kind of became a part of my DNA, you know. It's mostly Beatles style song arrangements, you know, where you have the chorus, the verse, and then the chorus, and then the middle breakdown, and then the chorus, and then it's over.
I love you mentioned breakdowns while talking Beatles, and that would have been a trip.
The breakdown.
The breakdown, replacing bridge, just breakdown for the Beatles.
No, we have a track out there on the record that is like crazy, like it's just like a heavy song, and it has dub in there, and it has all this crazy shit, and it breaks down to nothing but like this Beatles style.
That's cool.
Something crazy. Just so I did stuff like that. We wanted to do stuff like that just others don't do, you know, and we wanted to just do it because it came naturally.
Yeah.
It's like my hands played that. Like we were like, what do we play at this point? And then he's like, just jam. And then this part ends and I go into something. So no, the part ends, and then all of a sudden I started this like very like melodic Smashing Pumpkins meets the Beatles.
Right.
Hey, this works. Like record this. And then it just became the part, man.
Yeah, that's the thing nowadays, because there's no rules. Like you can, as long as you can blend it, and also musicians and producers are so much better. And I think genre fusion that like than they were in like the tens. Jesus, the tens were an interesting spot where all the metalcore bands were like, hey, we want to have the breakdown, but then also have the pop chorus, and it's like, okay, but like they would just shove it in there instead of like make it a song, and you could tell everything was really.
It needs to work, bro. Like you can't just shove it in there. It needs to work. You need to have that. There's always that little section you need to build.
Yes.
That links two sections together to make it sound like it belongs there, not you put it there.
Yes.
You can put anything back to. I've heard bands that just like they have cool riffs, but they put them back to back, and you just can't follow it, and you don't remember a riff after you've heard the song. There's like 10 riffs in a song, and none of them become memorable. It's just because of how they arranged it. If you half that out and arrange 3-4 of them in a really good way where they complement each other, then you get something that when the song is over, either the person wants to re-listen to it or they are humming it already because you kind of present it in that way. It's all about the presentation.
Yeah.
You know?
And balancing like all those energies so it makes sense, and it's not just random for the sake of we're random and we can be random. It's for the sake of guiding somebody through different energies, whether it's, you know, you go through a breakdown and you do a Beatles thing, you can do that. Is, you know, guiding people and doing it properly.
You gotta do it right.
Exactly.
You gotta do it right. It has to fit. It can't be like, because anyone can do it, bro. Just put two riffs together and kind of like add a stop and a start, and you got it, right?
That's the best transitional trick. Yeah, the stop.
Right? Breathe, stop, and start another thing. But if some work and some don't work. I mean, don't get me wrong. Some bands that can get that and do that, and that's their style, and that's cool. Like I respect it. But when you're trying, that's when it's like when you're trying to just jam a bunch of shit into one, and you know, like listen to some bands that actually have songs. You know, like a listening song, a 2.5 minute song, and see how that works. And
did you, when you guys were making like System back in the day, did you guys have like that crazy outlook, or were you just like going for it because you guys made something so special, especially that is timeless and it's catchy, but it was so like wild, like, you know, no one was making music like that.
Darren brought in the first song, and it had this other element to it, and I was really taken by it. It was right up my alley, you know. But so System started off as a band called Soil. Serge and Darren were in a band called Soil that I was friends with them, and I was rehearsing in a studio next door playing bass for this band called Roswell. And it was more of like a Stanford Prison experimenty kind of band. Their band was like a progressive System of a Down, you know what I'm saying? Like very like a lot of riffs in one song, long songs.
Gotcha.
And they wanted me to manage them at that point, and I was like, "Fuck yeah, let me do that." And because I love their music, bro, I love the way they wrote, the way they sounded,
Hmm.
and so I did that, and then I was friends with them. And then afterwards, when their bass player left and then drummer left, and they asked me to play bass, I was like, "Can we start a new band and like kind of
Yeah.
do it differently? Do it differently?" And I think I don't know how it all happened, but it was very mutual. I was like, because the bass player was an old friend of mine who I
Mm.
actually started playing music with, so it kind of felt weird taking the place of a friend of mine. It's kind of like dating an ex-girlfriend. You don't do that.
Right.
You don't do it to a homie. So I was like, I feel more comfortable if we just, we can use some riff. We have a song called Soil.
Mhm.
There's a riff in Soil. The main riff in Soil was a song that Soil had.
Okay. Makes sense.
So
Yeah.
it came from that. That's why you named it Soul, but then it makes sense with the lyrics. But anyway, so that's how it all started. So like there was already a writing style that Darren and Serge brought in.
Hmm.
And then I just kind of adapted to that. And the songs I was writing back then, it was like very metally,
Yeah.
rocky. And I kind of became that for me too. Because 30 years, bro. It's like
Yeah.
you just adapt and it just comes out of you that way.
Mhm.
I just like, even if I try to do something different, it's hard for me to write differently. That's just how I write now. It's been 30 years. That's how I'm programmed that way now.
Right.
So yeah, again, it was, having Rick involved writing songs prior to Rick. We had certain things that we knew was on point, but then he would come in and he would listen and be like, okay, there's this one section where that's the section. I don't know why you don't play it twice. And we look at each other like, I don't understand that, but we play it twice, and all of a sudden, that's the section that like
Okay.
everybody today knows and sings.
Mhm.
And so like that's what I think we picked up from Rick, and I still live by it. I think this album has a lot of those things in there where I listen to a part, I'm like, that's the part, and then we double that part, or
That's
we
amazing.
listen to that part to make it more special.
Mhm.
It's
Do
all
you,
about little nuances.
yeah, the new one, dude. Of course, man. And like, do you nowadays, because production and all and songwriting has evolved so much over so many years. Like, I mean, now like producers are in there using like Splice. I don't know if you ever mess with Splice or stuff like that, or like these
I
cool.
know it, but I don't mess with it.
Yeah, like these big I don't know, like databases which have these like copyright free samples, for example,
Yeah,
and like people.
I think Surge has a splice something that he
He,
sells. I think.
yeah, he might have it. There's so many people that also that just have their own packs on there, which is so cool because it's all copyright stuff. And so many musicians, even I know I have on the show too now, they're just like, yeah, like they're on there all day, like nerding out, and they're just finding sounds and sounds and sounds because all you do is you type in like whatever a drill, or you type in hip hop, and you can get all these different loops, you can get all these different impacts and like one shots, and all of them because they have they're copyright free. They all have this big inspirational aspect to them of like, oh my god, you're just going down here hitting the arrow key, oh my god, and then you just hear one thing, and you're like, whoa. And it can just change everything. And even if you have such a heavy song and you just take like a completely non-metal thing and you take this random loop that's like this synthy vibe thing, you just like shove it on. If it matches the BPM, you're like, whoa. It just like transfers you to a whole nother realm. So that's why I was wondering if you mess around with like
I
that.
think that would be really good for the way I do things, because what I feel like Morgoth is my splice.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
I'll ask him, I'm like, you have something like this? And he'll be like, he'll go through my database, and then he'll play something, and I'm like, that's the one. And then I jam on it. So the way I write mostly is to beats. Like if I have a beat, I jam to a beat. That's what happens.
Yeah.
My daughter. I'm on a podcast, honey.
No worries.
So,
Aw.
hi. This is live right now.
Hi.
Oh, hello. How are you?
She's home from school. There's no school in summer, so she's just wondering this. She just walked into my office. All right, honey, let me finish this, and I'll come and get
Here's
you.
look my shoes.
I love your shoes. They're beautiful.
Oh, that's so cute.
Close the door behind you. Thank you, honey. Love you.
Do you I mean do you show like your dog, like everyone always has like people around them that they show like their tracks to while they're making it to just check if they're like a little too crazy, you know what I mean? Like do you show anyone around you or your daughter?
She's too young. She came to the last System Sick New World, bro.
Mm-hmm.
She was so cute because it's like she's finally realizing System and stuff.
Yeah.
She wears her System t-shirt all day long.
Oh yeah.
But I had one of my friends had bought her a instant camera, they call it the Polaroid.
Oh,
shit.
Polaroid, yeah.
And she had it with her the whole time on stage at Sick New World. And every time I'd look back, the flash would hit me. I was like, so she's got like, she has like 30, 40 pictures of us on stage that from her eyes. I was like, that's the cutest little thing ever. Like she was taking pictures of it. Whenever someone came close to the side of the stage, like
Yeah.
stage, she would snap a picture and she was intrigued by it, you know. And then my sons are very, you know, they're into it. My middle guy, Hike,
Mm.
he's the one that jumped on stage and he's very, I think he takes after his dad where he's like, he wants to perform, he wants to sing, he wants to be up there, he wants to play
Mm.
guitar, he wants to play drums, he wants it all, you
Yeah.
know. And he's also a goalie in soccer. You know, he does it all, bro. He's like he's got that energy. So yeah, my kids are my muse right now. You
Mm.
know, they really are. I love them to death, and it's another chapter in
Mm.
life. You know.
Yeah, because I know many musicians that have kids.
Yeah.
Like that when they have kids, they'll show them the music because they know that they'll never get a more unfiltered opinion than when their kid
Honest.
listens to it. Yeah.
I'm gonna wait till they're. I mean, my 12 year, he's 12 now, so he's getting to that age where I can ask him advice when it comes to music.
Yeah. They'll always be the most honest, no matter what. And you'll just have that's the best part. You're just like, mm-hmm.
And they have advice. Like he has advice. They'll be like, if you do it like this, that's so cute. You know,
That's so
but
amazing.
yeah, it is amazing. I came from like a crazy life, you
Mm.
know, party and making music and just staying up all night and
Mm.
you know being in front. You know, I was SHAVO Nocturnal. You know what I'm saying? That was me. I was SHAVO Nocturnal. SHAVO Nocturnal.
Oh my
I
God.
swear to God.
That's-
And I did that when I was making that Rizza record, bro. We were up nights and doing
Mm.
all that shit, having fun and making music and
Mm.
you know, no responsibilities except that. And now it's different, you know.
Yeah. Do you have anyone in the world that you wish you could make, like metal, non-metal, whoever it is, like even a few tracks with in the whole world that you'd be like, yo, me and plus them would make just a banger?
I think there's a lot of folks. I couldn't think of one right now that because I would have to think about that one.
That's a big question.
Yeah, it's a huge question, and I would like to answer it like legitly because
Okay.
I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that I would like to do it with. One that I can't anymore with because he passed away was Jeff Henneman. I think that would have been crazy.
Oh wow.
Yeah, because I think like that Angel of Death riff and all that shit, that Rain and Blood stuff. I mean, those are fucking some. It's what made me write the riffs I write for this group. It's kind of like I got really inspired from that era of that genre of Slayer.
Dude, and even that, it's like kids nowadays are growing up with Slayer, Metallica, and all that, like as if and brand new, and they're doing it again. It's on whatever on TikTok or whatnot, and they're just maybe some of them following like the memes instead of back in the day where you hear a random riff on like I don't know, and you know, and before MTV, my God, just you know, your friend gives you a CD, right? Like that's
a lot. Yeah, the MTV came, but they wouldn't play a lot of metal. You know, they had the Headbangers Ball, which I freaking religiously watched because that was the only time. But there was all these like awkward, off-color like video shows on certain channels that would pop up on cable, and I would watch all those. Like, there was this thing called 2020 Video, something like Video One, and all these like crazy things that like never went anywhere, but they would play videos and they would play like the Motley Crue, Looks That Kill video and like the Live Wire video, and I love that shit. Wasp, you know, remember Wasp? They're back right now. I think they're doing shows.
I think so.
Yeah. I was a big fan of that era. Like I love that metal,
right?
That metal, but that wasn't glammy yet. When it turned glammy, I turned off of it. When it was heavy and hard, like Live Wire, they were killing people. Like that's what it felt like.
What's
you
like?
Know what I mean? Like,
what's
as a child? You know, as a kid, I was like in 5th grade, 6th grade, and I was so I was like, whoa, you know, they're like in a Chinese. They're in Chinatown, and they're you know that what was that video Motley Crue had? Too Young to Fall in Love.
Too Young to Fall. Yeah,
that video.
Yeah, it's been I grew up with all that like punk, and then I went to classic rock when I was like Motley Crue, Guns N' Roses, Rolling Stones, and stuff like that because of Guitar Hero. That's where my era comes.
But Motley Crue was not in. You said some groups, and you grouped them with Motley Crue. That's not how I see Motley Crue at all.
Oh, yeah.
Motley Crue was like that. They came out heavy as fuck. Like the first album, what's it called, man? Too Fast for Love. That shit is heavy, bro. There's some heavy. They do Helter Skelter really heavy. They got some really heavy ass shit in there. And then they got softer after like Theater of Pain. You know, they became that. What you're saying?
Yeah, that's because
Really
it's so crazy how all the different. I know so many people in my gen, like it was like Guitar Hero that introduced them to classic rock, right? All like the millennials, guitar. Thank God for Guitar Hero. Like classic rock was all introduced, and then nowadays it's TikTok, and it's so crazy to see how just the different mediums of mainstream as time goes on, like are the reintroductions of these like ancient, like not ancient but like older relics of musical past that like just keep living on because of these new mediums as it keeps going.
I thought of a band or a person, Sabbath, like Tony Iommi.
Oh shit, okay.
Those guys are innovators of our sound, your sound, my sound, the sound we're talking about.
The drop tuning, dude. Tony.
I feel like some of the riffs I wrote were very Sabbath inspired on this record. I listened to a lot of Sabbath recently. I've just been like really losing myself with like the Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath album and Masters of Reality. I've been really into that lately. I don't know why. It's just sometimes, you know, you go back to stuff you used to listen to and just listening to it, it still stands up. They were doing it in the 60s, bro. 60s.
That's insane,
man.
I was minus 30 years old.
You were minus a lot.
I was minus a lot, bro.
And they created that sound. It's like they went in and were like, we're gonna make this distorted and we're gonna sound like this. And Tony wrote these riffs, bro. Like these riffs that today you take that riff and you could throw a little dubstep or a little breakbeat under it. It'll be something that's modern. The other day
people might be mad when you do it though, but that'd be cool.
I'm not saying do it. I'm just saying it's still like it's so good that 60 years later it still sounds
timeless. Yeah.
Timeless. Yeah, that's kind of like where, you know, you aim to be.
I love that, dude. Well, dude, I've taken enough of your time. I know it's release day 2. I have, I guess, questions, stuff coming for both 7 Hours After Violet and Sode, whatever you want to say. Anything to do with you, feel free, whatever you want to tell the people, your projects, what you got coming, what you can't
First of all, I want to thank you, bro. Like I swear I've been following you and like kind of watching you're cool as hell. And so when you said, you know, do you want to talk to me on my podcast, Twitch? I said, fuck yeah. So thank you again. But System, that's my life. You know what I mean? Like we do that when it needs me. I'm there. We're doing August 17th at the Golden Gate Park with Deftones, Mars Volta, Viagra Boys, and Vows.
That's amazing.
I think that's a cool bill. Hopefully we'll do more in 25 and we'll let you know right when we do know ourselves. And then 7 Hours, bro. That's kind of what I'm doing right now. Album coming soon, another track coming in the next 3-4 weeks. We'll be dropping tracks until the album, you know, a few videos filmed. I hope you guys love it. It's from the heart, so I hope it shows. And once again, thank you, bro.
Anytime, dude. Amazing. Thank you so much. Oh, I always have to ask every guest this. Do you throw block?
What do you mean?
So a block, right? You know, do you throw a block? Minecraft. Do you play Minecraft?
Oh, I don't.
Okay.
I don't. Yeah, my kids do though. My kids are all over it. Like, you know, they're all over Minecraft, Roblox, all that.
I asked. We had, and it was one of my favorite episodes. It was one of my favorite. We had Clown on the episode, and he used that term, and it's my favorite because he was talking about the Minecraft Slipknot stuff, and he said, throw a block. And I was like, that is my favorite phrase, and I ask every guest and they come on now.
I'm glad you do. No, I know. See, now if anyone else asks me if do you throw a block, I'm going to say no, I don't. But I just know now.
I respectfully no, but it's okay.
I might pick up throwing blocks.
I might pick it up. There we go.
I'm going to go actually tell my kids about that right now as we speak. I'm going to say, teach me how to throw a block.
There you go. SHAVO, everybody. SHAV as well as Sode. Show the homies love. Check out their brand new song, Paradise. Dude, thank you so much. You're a pleasure. And if you ever need anything, let me know. And I'm stoked for the new stuff, man.
And we should jam, bro.
Let's go.
Let's keep in touch as we will already.
I'm always down. And if I live in Orlando now too, so if you guys ever in Orlando, like let's go.
Sure.
Whatever.
For sure. But I'm down to make something with you. It'd be cool.
Let's do it, dude. Breakdowns, whatever, Bledos.
Breakdowns. Let's make a whole fucking breakdown session.
Breakdowns, lo-fi beats, dude. I'm all for whatever, man. Let's go.
All
man.
right, let's keep in touch, brother.
Sick. Have a good one, dude. Thank you so much. Have a good one.
Bye, bro.